Hi, everyone. Okay, April 1st, April Fool's Day. But this is not a joke. This is real, and this is why. This country is done. This woman is a congresswoman. This woman is a quote unquote leader. Okay. Wow. Listen to this. I listened to this. I swear I felt like, well, some of the comments below did I relate to. I just felt like my intelligence was being sucked down. Listen to what this, excuse my French, batshit crazy woman in Congress is saying here.
They want to say, what about the surge? Well, first of all, just gut check, stop. Anyone who's using the term surge around you consciously is trying to invoke a militaristic frame. And that's a problem because this is not a surge. These are children and they are not insurgents and we are not being invaded, which, by the way, is a white supremacist idea, philosophy. The idea that if an other is coming in the population, that this is like an invasion of who we are. They want to say, what about the surge? Well, first of all, just gut check, stop.
Okay, just gut check, stop, AOC, because you are so tearing us, destroying us, pulling us down into the same sewer head you've got. This is scary. It's scary. I like her shirt, though. It's a nice light gray linen, probably quite expensive, from bartender to congresswoman. She's equating surge with insurgents. Do you know the difference? That a surge, okay. What do you say to this? What do you say to this? What, if you know something about what's going on in this country and you listen to that, you get, oh, now I understand why we're living a nightmare. These are the people who are setting policy. These are our quote unquote leaders. They don't know that surge doesn't mean that they're insurgents. Okay, you can read the comments below. Weird. Laughing my ass off. Okay, nut job. Cute, but nut job. Surge. Man, is she ever an airhead. Oh, white supremacy right on cue. What? They are not insurgents. AOC, what did you just say? What? Oh my God. So, COVID surges are that's a militaristic spin on what's happening. Oh. Okay. I see Saki isn't the only one who circles back out loud with a big effing shovel. Oh my God. We're done. We're cooked. We are boiled. All the frogs have left the pot. I don't know what to say. Oh, okay. Maybe we should bring this down to the border. A surge protector to protect the insurgents. I lived in Texas all my life and have been to Mexico many times throughout my life. And you, young lady, do not know what you are talking about. Yeah, I'd say that's correct. It's scary. It's truly scary that these are people in Congress. Okay, this person is obviously either having a manic episode or on amphetamines. Either way, they are not in a clear state of mind. I'd say that's true. A lot of people put down the definition. Surge, a sudden, powerful forward or upward movement, especially by a crowd or by a natural force such as the waves or tide. And she's saying that I guess they're all Trump supporters. Oh, wait, no. People who are saying there's a surge. These are not insurgents. That's what AOC says. So those who are using the term surge, I guess, I don't know, are Trump supporters? Damn, I lost IQ points watching that nonsense. Yeah, it feels like they're just pounding our brain down. Just, hey, can't be more stupid than listening to AOC. So, well, let's see. Let's listen to Biden.
What I would do as president is several more things, because things have changed. I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we...
What? Surge the border? Surge the border. Come across that border, insurgents. And by the way, I just consciously invoked a militaristic term. This is not an oh, well, I guess it is. Militaristic term that I used, and well, it's also, brings up that white supremacists. How do you, well, see, she did it. She did it. I don't even know how to address what that woman just said. So, there. I lost IQ points. I'm dumber for having stumbled upon this friggin' batshit crazy TikTok video that this congresswoman.
Well, first of all,
oh my God, I just feel like my head's going to explode. So, how about one more time? Come on, you can do it.
President, there's several more things, because things have changed. I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border.
By the way, all of those who are bringing up that militaristic term, surge, with the insurgents, and it is not an invasion. That's all of mainstream media. Let's see. Surge, 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 surge. Well, WAPO says there's no migrant surge. Oh, surge. And surge. And surge. And there's a whole lot of pages with recent news on the migrant surge to the border because, well, he just said it. Come on, if I'm president, surge the border. She posted this Zoom today. She posted this Zoom, I think maybe to redeem herself from her TikTok. Do you understand this is our government today? Well, let's just listen, please. Come on, we can do it together.
Question, and I want to dive in, head first in really discussing what is behind what's going on at the border. As we've seen, there are arrivals of undocumented children, rather unaccompanied children that have come at the border, and this has led to completely inhumane and unacceptable, horrifying conditions of children in CBP custody. And it's unacceptable and it's horrifying. And I've been to these facilities. I've seen these facilities. As we know, we've been a part of this issue and engaged in this issue, and actually trying to figure out real solutions on this for a long time. So I'm going to start with yesterday I spoke a little bit on this on social media, but I'm going to get a little bit into this. I started with the macro yesterday. I want to start with the micro today.
Oh, she explains this was the macro. Oh, now that we know that, well, this makes sense, right?
They want to say, what about the surge? Well, first of all, just gut check, stop. Anyone who's using the term surge around you consciously is trying to invoke a militaristic frame. And that's a problem because this is not a surge. These are children and they are not insurgents.
Okay, got it? You got it? Now it makes perfect sense because she was just doing the macro here on a TikTok. It was a TikTok. AOC. Oh, no, sorry. It was Instagram Live talking about the border. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Here we go.
People, I think we're looking at what's going on in these facilities. It's unacceptable, it's horrifying, and it's a result of the fact that we have built our immigration system on the same principles and scaffolding as our carceral system. And neither are just, and neither are currently designed to, or exist to suit the needs that help us as a people. And so, one of the things that we know and that I've believed for a very long time is that these systems for processing, which is the word that's used, which is also carceral language, but these systems.
Man, oh man, do we have to change our language, huh? Can't use processing, can't say surge because that invokes a militaristic frame, and you can't say anything anymore because everything comes down to white supremacy. Well then, who's going to fix that? Who's going to fix all of the problems that we have? AOC, you've been in Congress for years. Nothing has been fixed. But she did have a way to blame Trump, as everybody blames Trump. Everything is Trump, right? And what's happening on the border, well, it ain't as bad as it was during the Trump years, according to AOC.
Fine things that we've seen. Now, the first thing I want to say is that the fact that this keeps happening over and over and over again is a political failure by both parties. And I want to be very clear about that because I don't want to draw false equivalence. What is happening here is not the same as what happened during the Trump administration, where they took babies out of the arms of their mothers and deported their families and permanently traumatized these children, some of whom we don't know will ever be reunified with their family again.
Wow, she just said an awful lot there with no evidence. Now, we have heard over and over and over again how the Trump administration, they just ripped babies from the arms of their mothers and sent them back. Any evidence? Because I've looked and I haven't found any. There's no video of Trump ripping babies from the mothers and then sending them back, or anyone in the Trump administration, even a border patrol officer. Haven't seen it, but they continue to say it. The lying in our country is so off the charts now that that is what communication is in the good old U.S. of A. Lying. Lying, 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 and we put up with it. Hey, what possible good can come from that? Okay.
Which is a level of human rights violation that is just simply not the same. Both of these things are barbaric and they're wrong. But when you rip a baby out of the hands of a mother, you cannot draw the same comparison.
What I can do is ask you for evidence of these claims that you make. Now, a large majority of my subscribers know that I am not a Republican. I am not a Democrat. I left that liberal progressive team and found myself alone. I didn't go over. I didn't walk away to the other red team. So, I have many videos showing I am not a supporter of Trump. What I am is someone who doesn't like lying. I think the truth is that thing that is sacrosanct, and when you betray truth, you can only, the longer you betray it, the more you descend into hell. And I am not evoking some kind of religious, there's no religious connotation. We're in hell. We're living a friggin' nightmare because of liars. When you have a population, generation after generation, just accepting every friggin' lie they hear, and they can never stop, they don't consider the truth important, then you just descend further and further into the dark abyss. And that's where we are at. There is no difference from what is going on down on the southern border today than what was going on during the Trump years, except, we have an awful lot of unaccompanied children without mothers, by the way. Okay. Or with families. And there's a lot of proof. The Obama administration, when Biden was vice president, how many videos did I post on let's just say an awful lot of two-leggeds walking across the border, trying not to evoke some kind of militaristic frame. And, I'm white, so, want to try to avoid, those criticisms that I'm a white supremacist. It's hard to navigate this world today. All right. This woman is truly, she needs to be locked up in a psychiatric ward and needs years and years and years of daily therapy. And Democrats, that you allow this woman to continue on in Congress, it's frightening. But it reflects who you are. Something's wrong with your brain, as something's wrong with her brain. Now, Biden incorrectly claims Obama administration didn't separate families. Oh, no, the Biden lie. People don't remember what was going on during the Obama years. Yes, Obama separated families at the border, too. Oh, interesting. Now, I'm going to play this because it's funny. I don't know, funny.
Everything. Name something bad, he's the reason. Climate change, his fault. Asteroids, his fault. Earthquakes, those faults are his faults. A little wordplay for Saturday nights. You don't get that on Water's World. Every bad thing ever. I love Jesse. Everything bad ever is on the head of this evil orange monster from hell. Especially if you're the media. Take these images of immigrant children sleeping in cages. Journalists, politicians, Obama flacks, they all blame Trump. Turns out the photos are 4 years old when Obama was in charge. Whoops. Then there's, this is even better, this photo. An all baby seat immigration detention bus, also blamed on Trump. It was called a prison bus for babies by an anchor, a prison bus for babies. How could anyone say that with a straight face and believe it? A journalist. I mean, who would make a prison bus for babies? It's the craziest thing I've ever heard. A prison bus for babies. But you'll believe anything if you hate Trump, even though this photo was also from Obama's era, and no, it wasn't a prison bus for babies. It's for a field trip. Anyway, now you'd expect the media to check the date on a photo. I mean, that is their job, to check actual facts. It's almost as though they need some kind of help.
Hey, Tom, what's up?
Look at this. Immigrant children sleeping in cages on the floor. And how about this? A prison bus just for babies. If this doesn't prove how evil and heartless Donald Trump is, nothing will.
Well, I just looked it up, and that cage photo is from 2014. And that bus, it's for field trips, and it's from April 2016.
Wow. Just think, I was about to tweet this out to the public.
Sounds like you need a VERISCOPE.
What's that?
The VERISCOPE will help you see things clearly for what they really are, without an agenda. But first, I need to test you. I'll show you some pictures. Tell me if you see any news value in them.
That's a soldier getting rowdy during Fleet Week. It's Trump's fault.
It's 1945, the day we won World War II. Try this one.
That's a woman upset about the current political climate. I can tell because she's not smiling.
It's Mona Lisa, 1503. How about this one?
I'll recognize that anywhere. That's the day Trump was elected. I saw that guy in Brooklyn.
It's the screen, 1893. Last one.
That's a monster attacking Japan. You see, Trump is even terrorizing foreign countries.
It's Godzilla. Well, the good news is you do qualify for a VERISCOPE.
Wow. Does it have special powers?
No, it's just a giant magnifying glass, but it will help you pull your head out of your ass.
Ever since I started using VERISCOPE, I approach everything with more honesty.
Hey, Tom, how's it going?
Hey, Carl. Seeing your stupid face is the worst part of my day. Thanks, VERISCOPE.
VERISCOPE, for when you need to check your facts before you tweet something stupid.
Or when you post something on Instagram. Okay. Or when you try to redeem yourself with a Zoom chat, whatever the hell this is. Okay. This is why we're going down, okay? Because the American people don't do a friggin' thing to stop the liars and get rid of them. Get rid of these batshit crazy people. And yeah, you know, not Republican, not Democrat, but I will say the Democrats, well, they went over the cliff. They went over the friggin' cliff with their lies. Here are the photos of Obama's illegal immigrant detention facilities the media won't show you. No. In cages. Children. Let's just go through some of these. Now, there were a lot of crossings during the Obama years. But You know what? Obama, there's a, hang on for one sec. Obama deported more people than any other president. That's another lie that we listened to. It was Trump that deported more people than any other president. No, it was Obama. Really. ABC News, oh my God, mainstream media came out, told the truth. But Trump may be getting closer to Obama's recent policy. Yes, okay, well, let's just go back. Okay. Oh, kids in handcuffs, I guess with an adult. These are the conditions during the Obama years. Packed in. Whole lot. And it looks like the children are separated from their families. A lot of cages. Oh, sleeping on the floor. Oh, man, oh, man. In holding cells. Little babies. Yeah, Obama years. So, mainstream media certainly does protect the left and attacks the right. And everything is just a friggin' lie. Okay, so I was interrupted. Sorry, I don't remember what I was saying, but yeah. A lot of those who are crossing the border have been teenage boys and young men. But there are an awful lot of women as well. So, the lying is really destroying us. It's really unfortunate that most Americans do not care about the truth. And they really accept all of the lies that they hear from mainstream media, from their government officials. So yes, Obama, he was the Mr. Deporter, the chief deporter. Obama's deportation policy was even worse than we thought. The Intercept. Contrary to President Obama's avowed policy, a huge part of ICE's deportation efforts resulted in the separation of families. No kidding, in 2014, more than 40% had no criminal convictions whatsoever. Obama was just, saying that he was going to deport people who were had criminal backgrounds or whatever. Everything is a lie. Okay, I'm sorry for that little spike, in vocal tone, but you can't get anywhere good. Can't get anywhere good when people just keep lying. Instead of focusing on violent criminals, U.S. immigration policy has ripped apart American families and communities through the deportation of large numbers of lawful residents and undocumented immigrants with less serious criminal histories. Obama years. Ripped apart families, communities through the deportation of large numbers. Oh my God. Well, somebody should really tell this woman the truth. Okay. Let's listen.
People in, but they have to come in legally, and they come in through
But
merit.
how will you reunite these kids with their families,
Let me just tell you,
Mr.
they
President?
built cages. They used to say, I built the cages. And then they had a picture in a certain newspaper, and it was a picture of these horrible cages. And they said, look at these cages. President Trump built them. And then it was determined they were built in 2014. That was him.
That's right. Okay. You guys know I am not a lover of Trump. I am, however, and I don't know where it comes from, but when people lie, I don't care if I don't like them, if I disagree with a whole lot that they have done, but when they tell the truth, I will stand right beside them and say, this time you told the truth. Because the truth is what's important to me, not Trump. This lying sack of shit is like so crazy. Well, now, he did a whole lot of damage when he was in the Senate, when he was vice president. Now he's president with dementia. Okay? So, is he a puppet? Oh, yeah, he's a puppet. But that was absolutely true. And then, of course, Biden denies it.
They
have a
build
plan
cages.
to reunite the kids?
Yes,
with
we're
their
working on
families?
it we're trying very hard. But a lot of these kids come out without the parents. They come over through cartels and through coyotes and through...
Another truthful statement.
gangs.
Vice President Biden, let me bring you into this conversation. Quick response and then another question to you.
These 500 plus kids came with parents. They separated them at the border to make it a disincentive to come to begin with. Real tough. We're really strong. And guess what? They cannot, it's not coyotes didn't bring them over. Their parents were with them. They got separated from their parents. And it makes us a laughing stock and violates every notion of who we are as a nation.
Well, I guess you too violated every notion of who we are as a nation, because you, in the Obama administration, you, as vice president, also separated families. Okay? Okay. This is what's happening. Okay? Now, this guy claims that 500 came in, they have families, mothers, and Trump separated them all. Look what's happening. This, talk about, of all of the countries in the world, we are number one in sex trafficking, child trafficking. Number one, the United States. So the smuggler is dropping children over the barrier. This is what's happening. This is... These are little kids, toddlers, being dropped over the border. Do you think these kids made the decision? Hey, smugglers, look how little these children are. Okay? Child trafficking is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And it's going on, okay? Now, the permanent trauma that these kids have to experience, AOC is actually saying that they were permanently traumatized when they were ripped from the arms of their mothers, and not mentioning anything about what's going on. What's going on? Yeah.
Just came down. We were following this transport bus onto a friend of mine's private property, his ranch property, and followed the bus, and this is what we found. At least 50, probably half of them children, all just came over the river, and they're just simply waiting here to be picked up by Border Patrol. Large transport bus. We could tell it was going to happen because we saw the bus coming down. Anytime you see these big white buses, you know it's going to be a large group of people. and this is what we found. The shame is we're hearing from Border Patrol, continuing to hear, when you see the children, cartels are actually selling children to men and women to help them get across. Now, some of these obviously are the children of the parents, but Border Patrol estimates that a minimum of 1/3 of the children that are brought across the border do not belong to the adults that they're coming across with.
1/3 do not belong to the adults that are bringing them across the border. Look at this.
A Guatemalan boy, about 6, entering a vast unknown, crossing all alone into the United States, running after he passes the wall.
6-year-old Guatemalan boy running once he passes the border wall. Okay, any parent that can let go of their child, that's an evil that, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of them. There's a whole lot of parents like that. How did this 6-year-old just get to walk along the border alone? From Guatemala? Really?
It's about 11:14 at night. I'm James Langford. Want to be able to give you a quick update. I'm in McAllen, Texas, literally right at the Texas-Mexico border. This is one of the underground processing areas that has been set up literally under a bridge. This is a bridge that moves from Mexico into the United States. This is where families are actually coming, and unaccompanied minors will just show up here during the night. And like I said, it's about 11:14 at night right now. They'll show up. I'll kind of turn around here so you can see it. That far end down there, the bright spot, that's Mexico right down there. They'll show up down in that spot. They'll be able to walk through. They're picked up by Border Patrol here. They're organized. They get their name, their information. They'll go through a very basic screening where basically they're asked, do you feel well, kind of thing, with a basic screening. They'll get their name and information. If they have a child that's 6 years old or younger, or they're unaccompanied minor, but they can have like 10 people together that all say they're family, and if they have one child that's 5 or 6 years old, then all these folks will be released tonight into McAllen, Texas. Literally within a couple of hours from when they walk up from Mexico, they'll go through the basic processing here, and all these folks will be released into the United States tonight with what's called a notice to appear. It's a piece of paperwork saying you've got to show up at a court hearing. Some of those court hearings are 3 years later. So literally they're into the country for the next 3 years. So they'll walk up way down there. They'll come through some basic processing here, and you can see, I don't know how many are here right now. And then there's buses here at the end, and those buses will take them into the central part of McAllen, Texas, and they'll just be released at a bus station from there, and they can go anywhere in the country that they want to be able to go with that update. This is the problem. This is one of the areas that the media is not allowed to be able to come into. That's why I wanted to be able to be here, to be able to see it and say, this is the thing that Biden does not want you to see, is that literally people walk across the border, they check in here, and they are all released. 100% of the people that are here tonight will be released. So this is absolutely an open border situation. Anyone who wants to come in from any country in the world, if you walk onto this bridge here in McAllen, Texas, on the Mexico side of it, and get here, and you pay the cartels to actually come up to this area. So the cartels make you pay a fee to be able to come here on the Mexico side. Then they come in here and they're all released. So no matter what your background is, no matter who you are, if you come through this spot right here, you're going to be released. This is what open borders really looks like, and this is why this is a problem, and it's why I wanted to be able to be here tonight. We're going to spend the
And a lot of Democrats will not listen to him because he's a Republican. Wow. If they could just put aside that, crap, and really focus on the truth, we might get somewhere. Yeah, here we go. Increased number of migrants illegally crossing into the United States continued to stretch federal resources when, so many Americans are really hurting and they need some help. Now, do we know if those women are actually the mother of the child? We don't. We don't. Agents processed the migrants. Processed. AOC doesn't like that word. Processed the migrants in a neighborhood near the river. It's really... and crisis is not a word you can use either, according to Saki. She did slip up and say the crisis word once, but crisis? No, you can't say crisis, no. We're not even checking these people who are crossing. So, and by the way,
we dealt with the immigration population families over the past 2 years. This year, they say it's a little bit more, increasing the numbers and families.
This year, it's a little more. A little more? Really? A whole lot more.
Those are aliens inside of the fenced area.
One of our insiders just gained access to this incredibly restricted makeshift processing center in Granjejo, Texas. It's located under the Anzaldúa International Bridge. What you're looking at is never-before-seen footage showing migrants of all ages lying in the dirt, operating.
You know, getting back to AOC and what she said about those surge, then thinking, I guess surge is, I don't know, an abbreviated term for insurgents? But you're invoking a militaristic frame when you use that word. And it's white supremacist. It's a white supremacist notion. Okay. Borders, well, it's a national security issue. You know, you want to know who's coming into your home. Yeah? Okay. Well, national security issues actually involve the military. Oh, God. We are in such trouble. But, let's see, that's a whole other
The Supreme Court on Thursday
Whoa.
upheld a move by the Federal Communication Commission to relax media ownership rules, handing down a unanimous ruling that favors large broadcasters. The decision dealt a blow to challengers who argued that laxer regulations could usher in more media consolidation at the expense of minority and female media ownership. The justices found the FCC had acted responsibly in its 2017 regulatory rollback, which included scrapping a rule that had barred a single company from owning a radio or TV station, along with the newspaper in a single local market.
I guess the Supreme Court also is treasonous. Did you hear that? The FCC, their rule is fine. You can relax your standards and just consolidate more of mainstream media, denying women and minorities. Oh my God. Supreme Court, you're going to get canceled because you're racist and misogynist and everything under the sun. But we're going to get more and more and more. Oh, propaganda that will cement itself, and that's all we will get to hear. I have a lot of pages open, but this is what it looks like now. Yeah, Biden finally allowed some reporters in. This is a crisis, okay? All of these children that are now being locked in cages, you don't think these children, all of them, are traumatized? My God, it's really just, I don't know what to say. I honestly don't know what to say. You know, U.S. reopens Texas tent facility to hold immigrant teenagers. U.S. to house up to 3,000 immigrant teens at Dallas site. All boys. Number of teen migrants rise at Dallas emergency shelter as volunteers step up to help. U.S. waives FBI checks on caregivers at new migrant facilities. It was known throughout the Obama years that they were shipping these children into homes with adults that had criminal backgrounds. And, okay, well, a check on caregivers, where you're going to be sending these children, takes time. We're just going to waive that. We're doing the best we can, I guess. Psaki grilled on teachers giving in-person instruction to migrant kids before own students. Wow. Huh. Don't worry, guys. These kids are being educated. San Diego public school teachers to give migrant kids in-person instruction before their own students. Wow. Well, so many in San Diego still. Remote virtual learning. But these kids in person, and I guess the teachers aren't afraid of getting coronavirus. And this GOP lawmaker is here. The audio is not so good, but listen to what's going on.
But we're visiting this Donna facility, and we have seen the Border Patrol has these construction going on right here and already in play and already being utilized. HHS is over here on this side. This is a facility over here under COVID restrictions. They shouldn't have any more than 250 illegal aliens being housed here, and they've got up to 4,500 to 4,700 people packed in there.
Construction on the southern border taking place to house all of the illegal immigrants crossing the border. Crisis at Arizona border. Sheriff talking about how it's a crisis, a whole lot coming through, you know, and it's not stopping. It doesn't end. But when you listen to Biden, who literally encouraged those from other countries to come across the border, to surge the border, but that's not all he said.
The Obama-Biden administration deported more than 3 million Americans. My question to you is, if an individual is living in the United States of America without documents and that is his only offense, should that person be deported?
No. Depending if they committed a major crime, they should be deported. And the president was left in his... President Obama, I think, did a heck of a job. To compare him to what this guy's doing is absolutely...
Once again, President Obama did a heck of a job. A heck of a job. Okay, I'm sorry, man. Our country is gone. It's just gone. And yes, we can thank our fellow Americans. We can thank ourselves for never really thinking that the truth was all that important. Just listening to these liars over and over and going out to vote for them. Biden, chronic liar. Obama, chronic liar. Trump, chronic liar. But here he's talking about not deporting anyone that doesn't have a criminal. This is a debate. Anyone who has, a free and clear record can come over. And we wonder why we have the crisis that we have. It's just so remarkable to me.
President Biden rejected Republican criticism that he and his policies are attracting a rising number of migrants to illegally cross into the U.S. But he also said he won't ignore the thousands of unaccompanied minors who arrive here.
The idea that I'm going to say, which I would never do, if an unaccompanied child ends up at the border, we're just going to let them starve to death and stay on the other side.
The president was also asked about photos of the Border Patrol's facility in Donna, Texas, showing overcrowded and cramped conditions for the unaccompanied minors before they're transferred to other federal facilities that are more accommodating to the mostly teenage boys.
That is totally unacceptable.
With eyes wide open. Totally unacceptable. Well, you did encourage, Biden, you encouraged people to come to the border. And okay. We understand that there's a United Nations program. It's a global pact between countries to allow their borders to be crossed. That's why we're, for years, have been seeing so many refugees coming into European countries, so many illegal crossings of our border. We understand that. But even if you didn't understand that, if you're not questioning what's going on here, then, Americans don't question anything. And that's unfortunate because, we are being screwed. We were being screwed throughout the Obama years. Government released hundreds of immigrant felons onto the streets. Department of Homeland Security released another 30,000 criminal aliens onto the streets. Now, there was hearings on the releasing of criminals by the Department of Homeland Security back onto the streets, not deported. This was during the Obama years. Criminal aliens released by the Department of Homeland Security. Let me just read you some of this, okay? Here. In a 3-year period, Immigration and Customs Enforcement has released more than 86,000 criminal aliens into the American public. These are people that were here illegally, got caught committing a crime, were convicted of that crime, and then instead of deporting them, they were just released back out into the United States of America. All told, they had more than 231,000 crimes that they were all convicted of. 2015, 196 of these people were convicted of homicide. 2013, ICE released 36,007 criminal aliens back onto the streets of America. Were not deported. As of September 2014, 5,700 of those individuals went on to commit more crimes. March 2014, ICE Director Sarah Saldana testified before this committee that during fiscal year 2014, ICE released another 30,000 individuals with criminal convictions during the Obama years. Who does this? A government that has turned treasonous and wants to infect the public with a whole lot of criminals. ICE released 30,558 criminal aliens in 2014. All of those combined, they committed 79,059 crimes. They were not deported. 1,895 were charged with another crime following their release. Convictions include sex offenses, assault, burglary, robbery, driving under the influence. 2015, the agency released 19,723 criminal aliens with a combined 64,197 convictions, including 934 sex offenders, 804 robberies, 216 kidnappings, 196 homicide. They were here illegally. They got caught committing crimes here. They were convicted of the crime. And instead of following the law and deporting them, they were released back into the public, where they committed more crimes during the Obama years. You don't hear mainstream media talking much about that, right? This is what is happening. And the new Biden rules for ICE point to fewer arrests and deportations and a more restrained agency. What are they doing? They're setting up Americans to be the victims of crime. That's what they're doing. We do not have the economy to support an incredible number of people crossing the border. In fact, let me just play a few minutes of this.
You cannot make this up. First-time unemployment claims again came in this week at 719,000. Every single week, people, it doesn't stop. Personal incomes are cratering. Personal spending cratering. Debts ballooning. Deficits ballooning. You can't make this stuff up. But again, if you follow the mainstream, they're telling you we're in some kind of recovery. What are they doing? What are they trying to sell you? In this environment, an engineered economic shutdown leading to an economic collapse by design, central banks buying it all. No, this is not Twilight Zone, but it sure as hell feels like it. But anyway, look, every week when I hear these numbers, it affects me personally. I feel bad for people. And every week, it's the same story. Between 700,000 and 800,000 people per week applying for first-time unemployment benefits. And the mainstream, they keep pushing their fake agenda. we're in some kind of recovery. They parade out these guests that are trying to tell you that everything is fine. Look around you. Look around you. What you are seeing is real. But I'll tell you what's not real. Despite the fact that we just got another abysmal piece of economic news, again, incomes cratering, spending cratering, you know, it's Great Depression levels of unemployment. You're not supposed to know about that. Stock futures are higher across the board. As a matter of fact.
Yeah, right. Okay, so here, Drudge. Biden's stock market beats Trump. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's real. Main Street is off the radar. They don't care about the majority of Americans. They are destroying us. So the amount of unemployed, the amount of permanently unemployed Americans, the amount of people who have had their homes flooded out and they're now homeless. But we've got, well, they say now that there's something like, 70,000 kids will show up alone at our border this year. What happens to them? Officials have been stunned by a surge. A surge. Another surge. Yeah, everybody's using the word surge. What's the plan here? Well, there isn't one. Because I actually listened to this interview with Kamala Harris. Biden put her in charge. And the mainstream media, they were asking her, well, what's the plan? Because it doesn't seem like you have one. No, actually, I'll leave you with this.
And is everybody following COVID procedures? Okay. Oh my gosh, it's packed like sardines in here. And is everybody following COVID procedures? Okay. Oh my gosh, it's packed like sardines in here. And is everybody...
Sorry, the first one came out too loud. Yeah, TikTok is about to put Saturday Night Live out of business. This is a woman who posted this video pretending that she's Kamala Harris. But you know what? The pretending of Kamala Harris, that's Kamala Harris. They don't care about these kids coming across the border. They don't care about Americans. They only care about the agenda. And that agenda is to destroy the United States, bring in the New World Order. And we've got so many people who just don't care about the truth, so they won't research anything to find out, hey, maybe those crazy conspiracy theorists actually, they were onto something, maybe. We're in such trouble. We are in such friggin' trouble.
I don't have my glass on. In the first Democratic primary debate, Biden says when he's president, illegal immigrants should immediately, this is quote, immediately surge to the border.
And they have. And it's not going to stop. And they're doing these cursory checks and then releasing them. That is a danger to all of us. A danger to all of us. So, Democrats won't listen to Republicans. Republicans won't listen to Democrats. And we've got a shit show going on, and I'm tired of it. I am really tired of it. You know, it's... There you go. These kids, I believe that a whole lot of them are just being trafficked, you know, to it's pretty friggin', it's bad. Populism isn't dead. It's stunned. Today's political landscape is looking more and more like the classic Monty Python dead parrot sketch. This is what we're living, okay? You know the one John Cleese walks into the shop to complain about the parrot he'd just been sold, was dead, and he wants his money back? The shopkeeper, Michael Palin, insists it isn't. Hilarity ensues. The dead parrot sketch is one of the high points of Python's particular blend of absurdism and social commentary that transcends its time. Everywhere I look, I see Michael Palins doing their best to convince us of the most absurd lies, to hide the rank incompetence at every level of our society's power structure. Incompetence? I don't think so. I think they're very competent in getting the job done to destroy this country. We all know they are lying. They know, we know they are lying. We know they know that we know they are lying. And yet the lying continues because the American people don't put a stop to it. They don't care about the truth. Worse than that, the dying continues because that is the net outcome of all this lying. The wasted time, energy, billions of people who eventually are asked to fight wars on behalf of these venal liars, desperate to retain power and privilege. The endless lying comes from the need to sell us on a future we don't want for a price we can't afford to pay. Oh, that reminds me. Yes, Biden unveils sweeping infrastructure plan, calling it a once-in-a-generation investment in America, and guess who's going to be paying for it? Biden's tax plan will burden ordinary Americans who have no job. That doesn't sound good. The future we don't want and can't afford to pay. What is clear as well is that they do not care. They do not care. You know, this woman, this batshit crazy friggin' woman. Let me pull up her picture, please. She doesn't care about you. She's there, hired, from bartender to congresswoman. Oh, she's just so brilliant. She doesn't care. Her job is to get the agenda done. Bring in the Green New Deal, AOC. The future we don't want and can't afford. She's destroying all of us. But boy, her salary sure went up. And boy, during coronavirus pandemic, she wouldn't have had a job as a bartender. We're in big trouble. They don't have to care because our government has openly morphed into the phone company from the old Lily Tomlin sketch of a few years after the Python's heyday. Baby boomers certainly will remember that. This absurd level of lying betrays the elite's utter contempt for us. They have utter contempt for us. I can't stress enough that this obsession with narrative control is equal parts terrifying and hilarious at the same time. That's right. I don't know. Should I laugh at AOC? Or should I be horrified? Scared? Terrified? Terrifying because the real-world consequences are destroyed businesses, suicidal children, bombed cities, starved local populations, sanctions, threats, embargoes, migrations. Hilarious because these people are patently absurd. And we all know that comedy is, unfortunately, tragedy plus time. Because if we don't laugh at this just a little bit, the only recourse is insanity and violence. Oh, wait, no. We have the insanity. We have the violence. We have the absurdity. We have it all. Who takes Fauci seriously anymore? A whole lot of Americans. when more than 1/3 of the people you interact with on social media are literal bots, the level of surreality we deal with daily approaches that of the most incoherent Philip Dick novel of the 60s. It all is a full frontal assault on our senses, gluing us to tiny screens in a constant state of anxiety, noradrenaline, addicted doom porn junkies begging for someone to just once for pity's sake tell the friggin' truth. But it's impossible to do so now without the entire operation collapsing into chaotic mess. The financial system is rightly described by its free market critics as a Ponzi scheme, but the real Ponzi scheme is our faith in the efficacy of our elected officials and their handlers to keep all the lies spinning and the dying off the screens. The crimes committed by all of those crossing the border, but let them in, do a cursory check, and then release them. They commit crimes, they're put in jail, then they're released back into the streets to commit more crime. Yay! What an exceptional country we have. Those telling these lies are doing it out of fear. They fear losing potency, power, the only thing psychopaths truly care about. I don't think they fear it. They know. They know how demoralized and damaged Americans are. I mean, if that woman could actually go on Instagram and post this video, she knows. She can say anything, and she has been, by the way, throughout her years. And Democrats will still applaud her. That's the scary thing. That's the very scary thing that we are facing today. Once we get out from underneath the spell of the shopkeeper and see the parrot for what it is, that's when things have to change, because lies are expensive. The truth sells itself, yes. Worse, many of us still go along with the lies. Yeah. We've tried bargaining with these liars, humanity, to just admit the parrot's dead and give us a refund. But they won't do that. Their contempt for us knows no limits. Our frustration is rising. Protests against lockdowns in Europe are rising. Revolts against their vaccines are real. Now they're trying to bribe us with Krispy Kreme donuts to take the jab, while in Germany, the epicenter for the Great Reset, an even more brutal lockdown was just ordered and rescinded. French farmers dumping cow manure on the steps of government. And you know what? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Because in all of our countries, we have too many people who obey authority figures and just listen to the shit they spew. It's destroying all of us. Destroying every single one of us. And sure, do I want to say, oh, unless people wake up? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. This is what we got. The worst of the worst. But we got here because Americans, for a whole long time, have listened and accept. We have been part of the lie. A part of the lie. You know, the liar could be put to rest immediately if the acceptors didn't water the lie and allow them to continue. There's a dance going on between these sick psychopaths and the ordinary so-called good, decent American. Once you begin to see how entwined it all is, then you pull yourself out of the matrix. But I believe that we are too far gone to ever get out from under.